Hey, everybody. Welcome to my booth once again. I hope you're all well. I'm Jay. It's Thursday. We've got a sample from Don. If you want me to review audio of yours, there's a form in the description. If you want coaching, that's in the description. If you want to support this stuff because you dig it and you find it helpful, you should check out the description. You can also do this with the little buttons down there. That can really, and it really, if I had a nickel for an angel gets its wings. Okay, Don, what do we got?
From the mind of storyteller Franklin E. Wales. For 200 years, pastors of unknown origins have set up tent revivals on the outskirts of small towns, preaching their messages of salvation and healing.
Okay, I'm pausing it for a second for a couple of reasons. One, I have some initial thoughts. Two, one of these videos sadly was flagged a few weeks ago for copyright music stuff. So I'm seeing if pausing it helps. That's it. But Don, okay, you got a cool voice, my friend. It really, I think, fits this genre well, this sort of spooky, Lovecraftian-esque. I don't know why it feels Lovecraftian in a sense to me. And it's got you really suit the movie trailer vibe thing too. So solid on all fronts there. Oh man, I got the hiccups. Pardon me. The music, I think, as well. You've picked really solid music for this sort of vibe. I do have some critical thoughts about that later. But before I forget, I just want to touch on a small technical thing. You've done a lot of really cool stuff. I think your processing is pretty solid, but you have really sharp S's here. The sibilance is pretty harsh, to be honest. And there are a few things that I think may be contributing to it. You've thrown some reverb onto your voiceover, which I think is very cool, but it may be contributing to the S's having a particular punch. Additionally, the compression that you've applied may be tightening up those S's a bit. I just released a video, I don't know, a few weeks ago or something about handling sibilance. So maybe watch that and see if there are things I would apply some of the technical stuff. But your S's are of an ilk that I would probably recommend trying to solve it at the source, meaning adjusting your speech for those S's. It's a little difficult for me to advise upon that because I'm not a speech therapist, speech coach. I could offer thoughts, but I'm not trained in that sort of thing. But off the top of my head, instead of, because right now there's sort of towns, and they have that sort of dental teeth S whistliness, and you can shift it from a s to a more sh or s towns and make it a little bit more of a Z. That's just off the top of my head, but I might just work on shifting those a smidge. Anyway, that was my big technical thing. Let's keep listening, and then I'll give some of my critical, directorial, artistic ideas for you.
Are they really seeking to save your soul? Are they hustlers who just want your money? Or is it something even more sinister? Although he'd attended many such revivals as a child, city morgue pathologist Cornelius never gave it much thought. Until the dead woman on his table spoke to him.
Rock on, rock on. It's so cool in general. I really vibe with it. So a couple of my thoughts, and these are somewhat directorial and personal preferences, though I do think they still kind of apply. Otherwise, I wouldn't say them. Ta-da. Firstly, as I said, your voice and performance are really well suited to the sort of movie trailer vibe. And that's awesome. But one of the dangers of having this sort of angle to it is because everything is really intense and it lives in that movie trailer vibe world. To my ear, a lot of things end up having the same or very similar value across the board. And what that results for me as the listener is I'm not really sure what the important parts to pick out are, what the really I'm not sure what I should be taking away necessarily, because I get a intense vibe and I get high drama and I get that it's dark and all of that's really, really successful. But the details sort of get bowled over by that tone and vibe, as it were. And so if you pick and choose your battles somewhat, for example, this last line, Cornelius didn't think much about it.
Until the dead woman on his table spoke to him.
You, by sort of holding yourself back or saving the really impactful paced moments for that ending bit, you give that more value relative to the rest of the piece. And that helps me as the listener. So as an example, if we are going with the list of things that these preachers are doing. Are they, actually trying to save your soul? Are they just trying to steal your money? Or are they into it for something more sinister? Because I sort of threw away almost, or I'm not giving them that, really heavy, impactful, gravity-ridden value with are they really trying to save your soul? Are they just hustlers? Or are they here for something more sinister? Because I take those first two and I make them lighter, as it were, it makes the change have more value, which if I were to direct this with you, I might opt for that sort of thing just because it gives us more variety, a little bit more topography. That then I know, we're introducing something sinister here. So for 200 years, these people have been coming to these towns and preaching stuff. Now, are they actually trying to save your soul? Are they hustlers? And by that, with that turn, all of a sudden I'm leaning in and my ears perk up and I'm like, there's something else. There's something different. Anyway, that's all to say with the movie trailer thing. I would maybe make those adjustments. Additionally, because this is an audio-only thing, this again is somewhat of a personal preference, but because it's audio-only, if this were a actual movie trailer, like on TV, it's an advertisement and there's lots of visuals, then all of these pauses and sort of suspense building moments that you've tailored really wonderfully to the music may actually have more impact if there are visuals assisting them, and my attention will be sustained through that. But because this is audio only, it runs the risk of me losing the thread of the thought somewhat. So, for example, this first whole thing from 200 years through to, or are they doing something more sinister? All of that, to me at least, and my understanding of this is that it's context for us to get to Cornelius, the person that matters in this story and the inciting incident for the whole thing, which is this woman in the morgue talking to him. All the rest of this is just setting the stage for us to understand where Cornelius is coming from. And so if we were to remove these sort of suspense-building music breaks, now this is going to butcher the music, so I apologize for absolutely destroying the wonderful work you did here. But if we listen to this section now purely to just understand the context of what we're getting into, Listen to how the ideas flow a bit.
Tent revivals on the outskirts of small towns, preaching their messages of salvation and healing. Are they really seeking to save your soul? Are they hustlers who just want your money? Or is it something even more sinister?
So there I get, it's easier for me to track exactly what's going on without losing the thread, simply by crunching it together. Now, again, I recognize that you were tailoring it to the music, which you did really, really well. So in that case, if you wanted to keep this music, I might just try it in different ways. And if, I don't know. But those are my thoughts, Don. All that said, this is super cool. And please, please, please let us know where we can check this out down below. Because I, for one, love spooky stuff. And I'd love to hear what happens to old Cornelius with this woman from the morgue. But great work, Don. And to the rest of you, I hope this was helpful. And until the next one of these, be well. Doodles.